Hi, I'm Robin from Rainbow Gardens. We're glad you joined us today. We are going to talk today about citrus in containers. Now, why would you want to grow your citrus in a container? What are the benefits of that? Well, here in San Antonio, we have all sorts of little microclimates. Like if I live up to the north, it might be a few degrees colder. If I live to the south, it could be 10 degrees colder than it is in the north. We, are almost in Central Texas, but we're considered South Texas. So it varies from place to place. So we used to have a really big orange tree here right in the center, and it was here for years and years, produced lots of fruit. And unfortunately, we had that horrible freeze last year and it died. We cut it down and we did start noticing that we had some growth down at the bottom. But unfortunately, anything that's growing below the graft, because these are all grafted trees, is going to come out to be a bitter tasting fruit, like a sour orange or something like that. So we saw that new growth coming out, and unfortunately, because it was below the graft line, it then would not be any good. It'd be very bitter tasting. And that is true for most citrus that you're going to purchase nowadays. Citrus is really not meant to be left outdoors here in a pot if we're going to have freezing temperatures. As I mentioned, we have all these little microclimates, but my friend down south might be able to do really well with hers out on her porch, but then I live up north and mine could die. So we really recommend that when you buy a citrus tree from a nursery, it stays in a pot for the first 3 years. That will help it mature and help it be ready to be placed into the ground to make it a little bit hardier. So the pot size that we recommend is nothing bigger than twice the size of the diameter of this one. So we would get a little bit bigger pot, put it in. Doesn't have to be anything pretty. You have to remember too that you are probably going to be hauling this in the winter. So we would recommend, a plastic nursery pot, one of these fabric smart pots, anything like that. That way it's much easier for you to take it inside when it gets cold outside. Because those freezing temperatures hit and you need to bring this baby inside. So what does this need as far as sun requirements? Well, your citrus wants full sun. It loves to be in full sun. That's where it does the best. So pick a nice sunny area to put your pot. So if you notice that this guy is getting kind of leggy or not getting, having any flowers or anything, it's most likely due to shade. So you need to have this guy in full sun, because when they're shady, they just start, getting very leggy and don't want to produce. So what kind of soil would you use for citrus? Well, we recommend a very high quality, well-draining soil. Some of our favorites are the Fox Farm Happy Frog or the Ocean Forest, which is also by Fox Farm. They have a lot of great nutrients in them. Bat guano, earthworm castings, things that are really going to be natural fertilizers for your plant and help your plant. So those are the soils that we recommend here. It will really pay off in the long run. It will make a nice, big, strong tree. And as I had mentioned earlier about planting in the ground, we recommend 3 years and also brown bark. It's got to have brown bark. If it doesn't, it may not be strong enough to go in the ground yet. We also want to talk about fertilizers. You're going to want to add a slow release granular fertilizer, such as the Espoma Organic, the Citrus Tone. This one is excellent. And you're going to want to follow your directions, but late winter is a good time to feed for your pre-blooms to get that plant ready to go. Late spring, they call that the post-bloom. That application encourages better fruit set. And then in the fall, this will ensure overall nutrient needs of your plants. So we do definitely recommend the Citrus Tone. And typically with your plants, they're going to flower in the spring and they're going to start producing that fruit in the fall. Another fertilizer that we like to use is the Fox Farm Happy Frog citrus and avocado food. That is another one that is excellent. We highly recommend that. Lots of nutrients, just great for your plant. So, diseases and pests. There is something called chlorosis that your citrus trees can get. And one way you might notice is if your leaves start getting yellow, but they still have the green veins. And that means that they need some Dr. Iron. We definitely recommend using the Dr. Iron because it is slow release, but it definitely just gives the plant exactly what it needs over a slow period of time and helps it rebound faster. These guys can have leaf miners, leaf rollers. The leaf rollers you can just pick off if you want to. Also, the giant swallowtail caterpillar also uses citrus as a host plant. So you may see some caterpillar, it almost looks like a snake on there, or some little yellow dots, which might be the eggs. But that is also something else you might find on your citrus tree. But let me just also mention that, you know, it may not look pretty when they're biting the leaves, but they will grow back, and this is going to look beautiful. They're actually, I like to call them natural pruners, because they just come and take some of those leaves off for you, and then you have nice, beautiful, fresh new growth. I cannot stress this enough. You must, when temperatures drop, protect your citrus. They are not going to survive in freezing temperatures for long periods of time. Some are a little bit more sensitive to than others. Satsuma can go a little bit colder. And there's some other ones, but honestly, if it starts getting down in the 40s, I'd be bringing my plant in, maybe put it by a sunny window or something, but you're going to need to bring that plant inside. You can also cover it with a freeze cloth, but keep in mind that it only raises the temperature 5 degrees. So that is an option. But it does, as I mentioned, it will only raise the temperature slightly. Mulching, you can mulch around your plants, around your tree. That will definitely help. Make sure that you leave space around the trunk. But you can mulch all around. That will help also protect those roots. Bye guys, thank you so much for watching. We hope to see you soon. Take care and happy gardening.